It's finally time to decorate my house for Halloween. The theme this year is Skeletons Attack, and it will feature 17 skeletons attacking my home. Ever since having my twins Max and Harry, I've been even more excited about Halloween, and I cannot wait to show you this setup. I'm Jenny, this is my niece KK, she'll be helping out for some of it, and I'm so glad you're here to decorate with me. Let's get started. I'm going to start by setting up the cemetery. This is the foundation of the entire scene, and I've got these 4-foot tall tombstones from the Home Depot out of molded plastic. They're amazing, but they keep blowing over. So I need to secure them some way. I think what I'm going to use is these 1-foot pre-cut lengths of rebar that I got from the Home Depot as well. 4 per tombstone. I think it's going to get the job done. Now I've got some other tombstones, the styrofoam ones, but I want to show you the modifications that I made to those. So for my cemetery, I've got the standard styrofoam gravestones, nothing fancy, but a couple of years ago, I reinforced them with 1/4-inch plywood and then screwed these wooden stakes on. I was sick of them blowing away in the wind. This got the job done, but these stakes are really thick and they are not easy to get into the ground. So this year, we are doing something a little different. We sawed the legs off of all of the gravestones here to make it flush with the ground, and then we are screwing on some metal stakes that I found at the Home Depot. So here's the modification. These are a little bit wiggly, but once it's in the ground, they don't move at all. And these are so much easier to get into the ground than these wooden stakes. I will link these metal stakes from the Home Depot in the description. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they're cheap and they're really, really, really easy to use if you want to reinforce your tombstones for your cemetery. Now I'm going to show you how to make skeletons stand up in your yard. Here's what you need. You need a 5-foot tall skeleton, a drill with a 1/2-inch drill bit. You're going to need a 5-foot length of rebar. The Home Depot sells these in 10-foot lengths, so you're going to need to saw it in half. We are using our grinder with a metal cutting blade attached, and it worked great. Next, you're going to need a few things. This is a fence post driver, and it makes it so easy to drive these lengths of rebar into the ground. You can also use a hammer, but this fence post driver is amazing. Finally, you're going to need a few things. We've got these tent stakes and these zip ties to keep the skeletons in place. I'm also using some twine. So first, you're going to drill a hole into the tailbone of the skeleton. This is super easy. And then you are going to take your 5-foot length of rebar and you're going to figure out where you want to put it. This skeleton is going to be holding another skeleton on his shoulder, so it needs to be pretty close to the house. So we're going to drive it down into the ground a little bit first, and then we're going to get kind of like where we want to put it. His feet need to be touching the ground, so it needs to go in further. Now, there's a spot where the rebar is going to stop right about here. So it looks like I need about another 4 inches in the ground. So I'm going to get that done. Very easy with this fence post driver. Now it's time to place the skeleton. And this again is also very easy. You're just going to kind of wiggle it down through the hole into the rebar, and that's it. Now you don't have to drill a hole in every skeleton. This guy is kneeling and I just, zip tied him to this piece of rebar. Couldn't be easier, no drill required. And then I just used tent stakes to keep him stable so he wouldn't spin on the rebar. We've got about half of the skeleton set up, but before we do the other half, I want to show you the piece de resistance of the entire setup, which is this amazing roof rig. Basically, what's going to happen is I need it to look like the skeletons have ripped apart my roof and there's shingles everywhere and they are trying to get into my house. So let me show you how I built it. So first, I'm going to take 4 3-foot lengths of 2x4s and screw them together with 3-inch wood screws. This gives us the frame. From here, we're going to take a staple gun and we're going to take some shingles that match the color of my roof. So we're going to take the shingles and we're going to cut it down the center, and then from there we're going to cut different lengths of shingles. I'm also going to cut weird shapes into some of the shingles just so it kind of looks like they're being torn apart. And then I'm just going to staple them onto the outside of the frame. I found that standing the frame up helped to get the staples in better. And this is what it looks like with just the outside. Now I'd like it to look a little bit more full, so I'm gonna take some more lengths of shingle and just staple it to the inside. And this is what it looks like when it's done. I feel like it really looks like the skeletons have done a number on my roof and that they're gonna come into my house and kill me. So now I just need to get this heavy ass rig up onto my roof. But before I do that, because I'm definitely going to need some help to do that, I need to set up a few more skeletons. For the 3-foot skeletons, I cut 2-foot lengths of rebar. And we're going to take those and using a hammer, get those into the ground. I tried to use the fence post driver, but it did not work very well, so the hammer will do. I'm just trying to make it stable enough. And with the 3-foot skeletons, I don't have to drill any holes. So I'm literally just putting it down through the pelvis onto the rebar and taking a couple of zip ties and posing it, and it's good to go. Of skeletons left that aren't committed, so I think I am going to put this little guy over by this 5-footer to kind of make it look like, I don't know, like a family is attacking the house as well. Kind of like, hey little buddy, why don't you come and attack this house with me? It's gonna be a family fun adventure. Come on, let's go. I've got 2 skeletons left, so I think I'm gonna put one here in this empty space, and I'm gonna put the other one where that tripod is. This skeleton to look like he's doing like a running jump towards the house, but I want it to be accurate, so I'm going to demonstrate it for myself. It looks like I need to use this leg as the dominant, so I'm going to pose the skeleton with that in mind. No, this guy is not drunk. He was thrown here haphazardly. I am going to be taking this 8-foot tall piece of rebar and putting it right here. He is going to look like he's hanging from my gutter, but I really didn't want him to actually hang from my gutter. I didn't want to ruin it. So I'm just going to stick him right here and get him all posed, and he is going to look amazing. The time has finally come to get this rig on my roof. I am happy to report that I did not die, and the skeletons are officially in their final resting place. I used scrap pieces of lumber to weigh down the skeletons, as well as some zip ties to keep them in place. And I am so happy with how it turned out. It really does look like the skeletons have ripped a gigantic hole in my roof, and now they're just, taking a break, admiring the chaotic scene below. Now it's time for some finishing touches. is what my theme of skeletons attack looks like during the day. I love this theme, and I've been looking forward to bringing it to life for 2 years now. Last year, I was 8 months pregnant with the twins, and I could only muster the cemetery, but I am super happy with how this turned out. I already have an idea for next year's theme, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll be decorating for Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, plus I'm doing Vlogmas this year, and I would love for you to join our community. I will link my interior Halloween decor video on the screen, as well as my fall activities playlist, and I will see you next week. Happy Halloween!